So I'm currently in LA and landed late last night, and there's a whole nother backstory about the horribleness of that flight. But right before I left, the engineers sent me a email basically saying they're stopping work on the house. Now, they're only about 80% complete. They've got a whole bunch of work in the backyard that hasn't been done, and there's a whole bunch of work on the facade that has to be done. And they are demanding that I sign a new contract for the remaining 10% because the original contract had a 10% penalty clause for, them being delayed and not actually finishing the work by the 31st of December, which they haven't. And they still haven't finished the work, right? And I was going to be lenient and give them the whole, I had already said I wasn't going to impose the penalty if we could be finished by the new deadline that they said, which was the 28th of February. Well, we're still not finished. And then I was even putting a proposal together because there were these concerns to say that I would still pay it to them as long as they were in the spirit of the contract, which was a 4-month contract, that if they were, within sort of 3 months, I want to say, of the original contract to completion, because from the time of archaeology approval. So if archaeology had gone the way that it should have, it would have taken 4 weeks or something for the approval. So given them that 4 weeks, then it's still essentially a 3-month contract from archaeology's approval date, which was the 17th of January. So if I say to the 17th of April and they should be finished, that's still being very generous, right? I was proposing that, and then they sent me an email just before I boarded the flight last night saying, whenever it was, my brain is so confused about what time zone I'm in, that they're stopping work until I sign a new contract because they don't believe that I'm actually going to pay them. And I've just sent back a whole bunch of stuff going, you are actually in breach of contract and this is extortion. Like, really, this is extortion. They're refusing now to do any work. So the electrical is all wired but not actually signed off and finished. The plumbing has to be fitted off, and again, all the paperwork's been done but not signed off and finished. The air conditioning unit's installed but not yet signed off and finished. And that's just to allow me to live inside. And I need to move inside when I get back from this trip and that's what they were supposed to be getting the electrician in and the plumber in to fit off everything inside so that I could move in when I got back. That was the plan. They then pulled the rug out from under me literally as I was boarding the plane, which probably added to the fact of why I ended up having a panic attack on that flight. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So now I'm at a point where I don't know what to do. I'm reaching out to the contacts that I've made in Corfu to go, what do I do? I need a contract lawyer to force the issue. To be honest, the way that they're behaving, I don't want them to finish the job now because I'm not convinced that they're going to do a proper job, but they haven't even given me a proper handover. And I actually think that they need to go through and do an accounting thing to account for the way that the contract's been written. They're supposed to actually give me an itemized kind of account of everything that they've done, and they've never done that. So there's a few things going on about how I finish this contract, and they keep giving me this emotive stuff. We helped you with your golden visa, blah, blah, blah. No, dude, I paid you money. And for that, because I paid you money, now the work's been done. I paid you money to do my house. And, don't give me this shit and this is what they do, Greek men, honestly. It's all emotional. It's all, well, we don't like the way that you speak to us. Oh, really? Just because I ask you to actually do your job, and when you say you're going to do it by a certain time frame, I'm checking with you about, has it been done? Now you don't like the way I speak to you. Like, I'm not rude about it. I've never been horrible to these men, despite the fact that they've screamed and yelled abuse at me at different points in time. I've never done anything bad. So I just cannot believe that this is the attitude that they're taking. Anyway, so I don't know what to do next. I'm sitting in LA trying to work out how I'm going to get down to my friend's house just because I just want to hang out and enjoy this wedding. That's what we came for. And try not to think about it. But of course, it's always in the back of my mind because I don't have the documentation to be able to even just take over and employ somebody to finish the work. I don't know what they've done, and they're not going to hand it over to me, are they? So this is extortion, honestly, and I'm not having it, but I don't know how I'd, move it forward. But I've got a few contacts and I'll work it out. Anyway, Another day in paradise.